Hi guys, so now we're going to react to Lección 2. Now, like I said in the first one, Lección 1, Lesson 1, people told me that it was conscientious rap that talk about social, to me, again, conscientious rap is something that talks about social issues. And it did talk a little bit about, religion, vaguely cover it, about how they try to brainwash people, but he follows logic. He didn't dive deeper into it. And then he went on saying why he was the best rapper. The same game as all the rappers, that they're the best. That's what rapping is about, I guess. Not really, but I say I guess because a lot of people say that it's about bragging. And I guess that, yes, it started out like that, but they also talked about social issues. At the same time that rap started talking about, who's the best. I remember, I was a kid. And I clearly remember, it's like a jungle sometime. It's like a jungle sometime. I almost wonder how I keep from going under. Can't do it that well, but you know what I mean. They had social issues. The same time that hip hop, but was playing on the radio. So I guess that it depends on the rapper. What you want to rap about? What you want society to know you? What do you want people to know you about? What do you want to talk about? What do you want to describe? You want to describe how great you are and the money and the women that you have, because no one done that before, right? I used the opposite of Token. Token said nobody talked about poverty before, being sarcastic. Well, nobody talked about having money and gold chains and cars and women and drugs before. Let's see, this is in DR, I guess. This is in the Dominican Republic.
Tú eres loco, man. En la carrera de la rata, creyendo en los noticiarios. Nacido para morir un día, me adapto bien a esa filosofía. Ningún maldito inepto va a jugar con mi comida. Hoy en día una pandemia lesiona la economía. Tu forma de pensar, manín, no encaja con la mía. Quiero ir.
I like the one. He does have bars, but he came out strong right away. Talking about how people try to brainwash and he doesn't let it. He doesn't let that happen. Talking about the influence. Now, I don't know which influence, but people trying to, manipulate others. Yeah, and then I was born, and I guess it's religion, because he's like, I was born to die one day. So I adapt myself to that mentality. I accept that. And I'm not looking to think, I'm going to reincarnate, or I'm going to be, in heaven, or born again, or get out of the tomb, like they say. There's a religion that says that 200 and something are going to rise up and walk out, the dead bodies. So this is interesting. Okay, I'll give him props for that, because the first one he did in New York, and now the second lesson he's doing in DR.
En la carrera de la rata, creyendo en los noticiarios. Nacido para morir un día, me adapto bien a esa filosofía. Ningún maldito inepto va a jugar con mi comida. Hoy en día una pandemia lesiona la economía.
Sounds like that came out in 2020, because they say nowadays a pandemic is hurting the people, hurting the citizens. And he says that he said, como creyendo en lo periódico. I don't know if he was being sarcastic, like believing in the newspaper, but he is reading the newspaper. So,
creyendo en los noticiarios. Nacido para morir un día.
I think that he's playing, because he said, creyendo en los noticiarios. You can hear the ad-lib in the background, like, yeah, right. That's my opinion. I don't know. Might be wrong, but I think that's what he did.
Ningún maldito inepto va a jugar con mi comida. Hoy en día una pandemia lesiona la economía.
Yeah, and no inept is going to play around with my food, with my eating, like, his way of getting money. And that's, he started out reading the news and I'm going to believe that? No, and nobody's going to mess around with my food.
Tu forma de pensar, manín, no encaja con la mía. Quiero diría, le quito la alegría a los ignorantes que son manipulados por corruptos gobernantes. No me adapto al sistema, Pancho, que toco me...
Si yo no me equivoco, ese Trujillo, but I might be wrong, because he's a kid. And I wasn't even born when Trujillo was around, so I don't know, but maybe he's talking about that. I think it might be Trujillo. I don't know. I would expect that he talked something about what's going on in DR now at this time, but he's showing the images are of a dictator. I believe Trujillo. Me parece a León Trujillo, no sé, Leonidas.
Le quito la alegría a los ignorantes que son manipulados por corruptos.
Wait, is that the guy? Is that who's that? Okay, hold on. Right there. Wait, no.
Le quito la alegría a los ignorantes que son manipulados.
I think that's Trujillo. Yeah, the one in the middle. So I don't. Your belief they're not congruent. They're not congruent with my belief. You know. And then he's saying, and I take away the happiness to all those ignorance, like, you know, because he wakes them up.
Le quito la alegría a los ignorantes que son manipulados por corruptos gobernantes. No me adapto al sistema pancho de estos comediantes. Pensamiento anarquista apto pa' mente brillante. Muy elegante es la forma de mentir de aquel que sabe bien manipular con su papel a todo aquel borrego que no encuentra qué hacer con cuco religioso, enfermedades a granel.
Okay, now this is conscious rap. That's why I think Jose Diaz mentioned lesson 2 first, before he mentioned lesson 1. I'm going to give him prop for that, because he did it. It was other people that said, oh, listen to lesson 1, 2, and 3. He just mentioned 2. And this is why. This is more about social, this is about social conscious. This is about conscious rap. He's talking about what's happening in society and talking about how the government manipulate people and they're a liar, they're corrupted. And then you got these sheeps, borregos, following them, you know, and doing whatever they want, giving them more power than these people need when they're just corrupt and they're trying to take advantage of the people. And then he shows these images of dictators and corruptors.
Sabe bien manipular con su papel a todo aquel borrego que no encuentra qué hacer con cuco religioso, enfermedades a granel.
Con cuco religioso, that's a Dominican expression. El cuco is like the boogeyman. The boogeyman, the religious boogeyman, el cuco religioso. So, you know, with santerías, with religion, with la Virgen de la Altagracia, they keep the citizen, they keep el pueblo, they keep them subjugated.
Qué maldito poder del diablo es que tienes tú. Si se ve lo cobarde que eres con tu actitud y tu comportamiento tiene gran similitud con el de todo aquel que termina en un ataúd por tirano, enfermando a la gente macacano con tu falso discurso de que todos somos hermanos, de que somos un pueblo libre, rico y soberano, sabiendo tú muy bien que de la mente no es tan sano. Manipulación de la población es la razón.
Oh my God, this is social. So he's talking about how these dictators, you know, manipulate the people and let them think it. He's talking about Fidel, because I know probably he does too with Cubans that I have spoken to who leave the country for the first time and then they come to the United States or they go to other countries in Latin America and they realize that Cuba is not that great as Fidel was making them believe, because Fidel taught a lot of them, like the indigenous people, that like Latin America was full of indigenous people, that they were worse off, that they were better. Cuba was better because they had a higher education, higher medicine, resources, and all the things that they did have in a moment until the Soviet Union fell. And that's when, you know, the Cuban regime collapsed totally and the people suffered the most, except that the dictatorship still stayed there. So he's saying you're lying to the people, telling them that you're in a good position, that you guys are the best, that you guys are rich, and that's not the truth. And when they're dictators, they can manipulate the news. So they can feed people like this guy does in North Korea. He can feed them whatever he wants. He can tell them whatever he wants, and they have no way of finding out because there's no internet. There's no other way to find out news, to know what's going on in the world. The government becomes God.
Tiene gran similitud con el de todo aquel que termina en un ataúd.
So he said your attitude has it's very similar to the attitudes of all of those that end up in a coffin.
Tirano, enfermando a la gente macacano con tu falso discurso de que todos somos hermanos. de que somos un pueblo libre, rico y soberano.
Yeah, like he's saying, that with your false speech, your false discourse, that we're all brothers, that we're all doing so well, that we all got so much money. Please don't change, Lapi. No comienza a brag. Don't start bragging about you. Let's keep it up this way. This is the kind of rap I like.
Sabiendo tú muy bien que de la mente no es tan sano. Manipulación de la población es la razón de la desconexión entre cerebro y corazón. El pueblo no está alto, nadie aguanta la presión.
Yeah, manipulation is the source of the disconnection between the heart and the brain. Okay, because they're not getting it. They're getting information that is just trolling them to make them feel, go by their emotion and not by logic, not to see the reality.
Manipulación de la población es la razón de la desconexión entre cerebro y corazón. El pueblo no está alto, nadie aguanta la presión. El sistema colapsa creando la depresión y la represión militar. Ya es un hecho, hombre que se revela, disparos en su pecho, independencia mental de que la muerte al acecho, asegurándose que nadie muera natural en su lecho.
Ooh, bars. So he's talking about, so then what happened is that these people, they control the news, the information, making people ignorant, but then people start seeing that this is not working and they're being repressed and they explode. And when the citizens go out, what do they do? They throw in the military to repress them. So a man protests, he says, and what does he get? He gets shot in the chest. And then he says they're trying to make sure the people do not end up in their bed, in their houses, like most of us want, right? Because once you start getting older, you start realizing where I want to die. If I have a choice, do I want to die in the streets? No. If I want to have a choice, I want to die in my house, in my apartment, in my place, with people that I love. I don't want to die in the street, but... And remember, who said that? About 2 months ago? Yes. EMPD, Nas said that he wanted to die like the Godfather. Yeah, because I just reacted to that. But when you see this, it's going to be a month later, almost 2 months later.
Te sientes muerto, dalo por hecho, sin comida, sin trabajo, sin salud y sin techo. El camino a la libertad se te puso estrecho. Hay mucho de lo que ves hoy en el libro de Hechos.
So he's talking about, so it now became narrow for you, like the road became narrow. Now you're seeing that it's hard for you. So talking to the people that it's hard for you to be free. The road to be freedom is becoming more difficult. You cannot even feed yourself. So the road became narrow.
Te sientes muerto, dalo por hecho, sin comida, sin trabajo, sin salud y sin techo.
Yeah, do you feel dead with no food, no health, and no roof over your head?
El camino a la libertad se te puso estrecho. Hay mucho de lo que ves hoy en el libro de Hechos. Represión, depresión.
A lot of things that you see now, you see them in the book of the facts. Now I don't get that. Why is he calling the Holy Bible the book of facts? Because that's what he said. A lot of the things that we're seeing now, we see it in the Bible. So what is it? The Bible, that I don't get. Because he's making it sound that it was predicted. That's what a lot of Christians believe. That Armageddon, we're going to come to an end and we're going to see stuff that we're seeing now, all the chaos that we're seeing now. The Bible predicted it.
Se te puso estrecho. Hay mucho de lo que ves hoy en el libro de Hechos. Represión, depresión, no hay visión. Presos de la falacia y de la corrupción. No existe oración que detenga la misión. Somos parte del caos. Bienvenido a la función. Antidepresión, depresión, no hay visión. Presos de la falacia y de la corrupción.
So he said right there, that's the chorus again. Anti-depression, depression. Prisoners of fallacy, of lies. Prisoners of lies.
No existe oración que
There's no prayer. There's no prayer that can stop the mission. We're part of the chaos. We are part of the chaos. It's not just them, but we are too.
Hacia el deterioro, derechos flotan en el inodoro y el virus se pega como un disco de Teodoro.
Wow, it sounds like it is 2020. I gotta check. I thought this was an old one, but pretty cool. There, he's saying your rights are in the toilet. George Carlins, you have no rights. You got no rights. The only rights you have, the only choice you have is paper or plastic. We have under the illusion that we are free, that we got rights, but we don't.
Presos de la falacia y de la corrupción. No existe oración que detenga la misión. Somos parte del caos. Bienvenido a la llegada al deterioro. Derechos flotan en el inodoro y el virus se...
The rights are floating in the toilet. The rights are floating in the toilets. Bars, man. Metaphor.
Pega como un disco de Teodoro. El que cree todo esto mierda suda por los poros. Si dejas de fumar te mata el camión de Marlboro. Yo no hago coro con enanos.
That was funny. If you stop smoking, the Marlboro truck will kill you. Kind of nihilistic, huh? Like the tone is going towards is like there's no reason then to fight, no reason to do anything. Like what? You can't quit smoking because you might get killed by the Marlboro truck.
Ellos flotan en el inodoro y el virus se pega como un disco de Teodoro. El que cree...
Yeah, the virus gets contagious like a song of Theodore. I don't know who that is.
Todo esto mierda suda por los poros.
All this excrement you sweat through the armpits.
Deja de fumar te mata el camión de Marlboro.
If you quit smoking, Marlboro truck is gonna hit you. It's gonna kill you.
Yo no hago coro con enanos mentales. Hay crisis en las escuelas, crisis en los hospitales.
I don't hang out. I'm not congruent. I don't agree with mental midgets. And I don't mentales. There's crisis in school. Crisis. The resources are missing at the school. Lack of education.
Mentales, hay crisis en las escuelas, crisis en los hospitales.
And crisis in the hospital too. Now, Juan Luis Guerra cantó una canción, ¿no? El Niágara a pie.
No son vitales, problemas elementales.
Which means the Niagara, walking the Niagara. Just think about that. Think about walking the Niagara. You will die. It will drown you. That's how he felt when he went to the hospital. Juan Luis Guerra made a whole song about that.
Crisis en los hospitales, no son vitales, problemas elementales. Tú dime cuáles son los hombres que te cuidan. Serán medidos con las balas que midan. Por eso hay tanta gente que hoy en día se suicidan. A Dios no piden.
Oh, so he believes in God then. Well, he's saying here now that be careful with the people that protect you, because the same bullets that protect you, that they use to protect you, by those same bullets there will be measure, meaning karma, coming back to you. So there's an expression about the sword. You'll be measured by the sword that you carry. So he's using the reference of bullets nowadays. And then he says, I'm not surprised that so many people commit suicide nowadays.
Hombres que te cuidan serán medidos con las balas que midan. Por eso hay tanta gente que hoy en día se suicidan. A Dios no pidan su clemencia, es muy tarde. El que se ponga oral está orando de balde. Son miles de años predicando y si alde la quieres que Jesús no quiere, creyente es cobarde.
So he's like saying, those of you that are praying, don't pray. It's too late to pray. Your prayers will not be heard, because Jesus doesn't want someone who's who's a coward. Jesus wants people who will go out and fight for their right, who move forward. Because that goes back into the Bible where it says, don't, when the mountain doesn't go to Muhammad, Muhammad goes to the mountain. But there's another one. Jesus used it too. The grain of salt, of something like that. Your what you get in life will be measured to what your beliefs are. So something about the mountain. I know he used a mountain too. I forgot what it was too. But the point is that less praying and more action. You know, or you can pray but act. You don't just pray and expect things to happen to you.
Morales orando de balde, son miles de años predicando y si alde la quieres que Jesús no quiere creyentes cobardes. Y maldecirme no es opción, compatriota. Es tu moral la que se encuentra en bancarrota. La desesperación en tu palabra se nota. Que esperabas si fuiste un mediocre con la mala nota. Sufre tu.
Oh, he's like, what were you waiting for? You know, you're crying now. You're crying, but what were you expecting? If your education is a mediocre education, what you got? Bars, man. Tu educación es mediocre.
Y maldecirme no es opción, compatriota. Es tu moral la que se encuentra en bancarrota. La desesperación en tu palabra se nota.
The desperation in your voice, you can hear the desperation in your voice. Say, don't cuss at me. You know, it's a waste of time if you're cussing me because I'm telling you the truth. And I can hear the desperation in your voice. What did you expect with such an education that you got?
Esperaba si fuiste un mediocre con la mala nota. Sufre tu culpa, el sistema está suelto. En esta época el demonio anda suelto.
So it's like face your, and I think he's being sarcastic here. I think that everything he's saying here is being sarcastic, I guess. But he's like, suffer your own pain. You know, you got a mediocre education. So now, and you were bad. You were a bad student. You were not a good student. So now suffer the consequences.
Él la despisa como orgullo tu puerto. Debes preocuparte por no ser otro muerto. Antirrepresión.
Okay, I didn't get that one. You gotta worry about it.
Suelto. En esta época el demonio anda suelto. La que esperaba si fuiste un mediocre con la mala nota. Sufre tu culpa, el sistema está suelto.
Yeah, it's your fault. Suffer, it's your fault. The system is absolved. So I think he's being sarcastic. Because that's what the system does. And we gave you the education, it's there. You were the bad student. You didn't study. You wanted to work and support your family. You should have stayed in school.
En esta época el demonio anda suelto. Él la despisa como orgullo tu puerto. Debes preocuparte por no ser otro muerto. Antirrepresión, depresión, no hay visión. Presos de la falacia y de la corrupción. No existe oración que detenga la misión. Somos parte del caos. Bienvenido a la función. Antirrepresión, depresión, no hay visión. Presos de la falacia y de la corrupción. No existe oración que detenga la misión. Somos parte del caos. Bienvenido a la función. MVP the Soul, Link 20, Lección 2.
So he repeated the chorus again, saying, depression, antidepressant, depression, the function is, welcome to the function, we're part of the chaos, so there's no escaping. You're going to die too, we're all part of the chaos. So anyhow, this one was a conscious rap. I understand now why they say lesson 2 instead of lesson 1. Well, my bad. I guess I misunderstood. But thank you for telling me about this one. And I hope you guys like my translation. And espero que les haya gustado mi reacción. No hablé mucho en español, pero let's do this. Let's do the Spanish one into English and the English one into Spanish. Okay? Take care. Bye.